I'm Coach Natalie, and welcome to this episode of Jiu Jitsu for Dummies. Well, today we're going to be building on that sit-up turnover we learned last week, and as promised, we're going to be learning how to turn this into a triangle. Now, this whole series in the next couple of weeks is what we call the open guard position. You know, when you're sitting on your bottom, you know, your partner may be more or less between your legs, but your legs aren't crossed behind them. And for years, I never liked being in the guard position, either the open guard or the closed guard position. And it's for this reason. Often I am the smaller of my partners. Certainly I'm the oldest. And I never felt like I had enough tools, enough techniques to compensate for the fact that my partner might, get past my guard, break out of my guard, get to side control. And, obviously then they could smash me and that kind of thing. So I never willingly, pulled guard or that kind of thing. But in my jiu-jitsu journey, I am now learning more techniques to kind of counterbalance the chance that, if they pass my guard, that at least I'll have some resistance. I'll have some plans to get out of that bad position. Also, my opponents are getting better too. They might get better and better at takedowns, and I may be landing on my bottom, despite my best intentions. So it's always best to have a plan for, making use of, finding yourself on your bottom. So last week, episode 51, we talked about the sit-up turnover. Now we're not going to talk about that too much this week, except that's going to be the setup. So let's check out getting a triangle from the sit-up turnover setup. Okay, let's break it down. Now I will demonstrate from that angle and then I'll, show from the other couple angles. As I said, we're going to be starting when your partner is going to be in your open guard. This leg, your foot's going to be flat on the floor. This leg is flatter to the floor. And remember last time, we rubber band, go in this direction, post, with the idea that we're going to be overhooking one of their arms. Now, especially if you have a real human person, first thing they're going to do is they're going to want to, post back. Because first of all, you're trying to sweep them. If they stick this arm back, now they can't be swept. This is good because this is actually going to give you some space, because you're going to want to, instead of grabbing over that arm, you're actually going to be throwing this leg over that shoulder. So it's going to look like this. So Sally, my jiu-jitsu partner here, is going to be kneeling down in my open guard. Remember, this foot is going to be flat on the floor. First thing I'm going to be doing is rubber banding. Getting onto this arm with the idea that I would be overhooking this arm. Now, if Sally was a real person, she'd be leaning backwards. There's just no way I can overhook this arm. But that's good, because now what I'm going to be doing, securing this arm, I'm going to be throwing my leg over her shoulder. And first, I'm going to be securing my ankle. Next thing I'm going to be doing is cutting a corner and getting my knee over my instep. We call this triangling the legs. Now, you'll notice that she does have one arm trapped. So I'm going to be shucking it to her right, my left. Last thing, I'm going to be pushing my knees together and pulling my knees towards me. And with this arm on one side of her neck and this leg on the other side, it's kind of creating a neck sandwich. And as you know about any kind of triangles, you just need to be pressing on one side of the carotid artery with either your arm or leg, and then with their other arm, you're forcing the other arm into their neck, and by pressing on both sides of the carotid artery, obviously they'll feel like, at a certain point I should probably tap. We'll do it from another angle. Again, Sally is my open guard. You know, one foot's up, one foot's down. The idea is first that I would be overhooking this arm, but you know, Sally's pretty smart. She's leaning backwards. I don't have enough space. That's great. What I'm going to do is secure this arm and throw my leg over her shoulder and secure my foot with my other hand. Next thing, I'm cutting the corner a little bit more and triangling my legs. Shuck the arm, pinch my knees together, and then pull my knees towards me. From the final angle, again, one knee's up, one knee's down, rubber banding. If Sally was a real person, you know, she'd be leaning back. Now I don't have enough space to overhook, but that's great. It's actually giving me space to put this leg around her, over her shoulder. So I'm securing this arm and now pulling my foot and leg over her shoulder behind her neck. Now, securing my ankle, I'm putting my back of my knee over the instep. I actually call this triangling the legs. That leaves one arm shuck to one side, grab, pinch, and get to the triangle. So, that's pretty simple. The good thing about this move, especially if you're using a real person, because I said if I was in someone's guard and I got the feeling they were trying to push me, I'd be sticking my arm back. That is my natural reaction and is also protecting me from being swept. But at the same time though, now I'm moving this arm out from my torso. I cannot triangle my partner if my leg is stuck under their underarm. If I was the dummy, if I was Sally, and Natalie here was trying to get my, her leg over my shoulder and my hand was here, my leg would be stuck underneath, Sally's underarm. If I'm moving my arm back, because I'm a real person and this is my actual reaction, that's great. That just frees up more space for the leg to go over the shoulders. So if you're practicing this with the real person, they're naturally going to put their arm back, and that's good. That's great. Then that gives you space to put the leg over. If you're practicing with a dummy, you're definitely going to want to secure this arm, because, you know, like I said, you can't do this when your leg is trapped under their underarm. It has to go over their underarm. So that's one mistake. As I mentioned, triangles work because you're pressing on both sides of the carotid artery. Now you can see one of the, you know, the inside of the leg is going to be, you know, causing pressure on one side of the neck. But you need to, you know, once you've triangled the leg, then you don't have to hold on to your ankle anymore. Now you can take that arm and free it, you know, to move the arm to the other side. And then cutting the angle. Now, I have short arms and legs, as I've mentioned many times in the past. Triangles work better when you're cutting an angle, because people are wider if you're looking at them, you know, straight on. They're narrower if you're looking at them from an angle. So remember, I started off like this. I'm throwing my leg over the shoulder, then I'm triangling it, then I want to continue to cut the angles. Eventually, when I'm doing this, ideally I should be looking into the side of my dummy's ear, you know, Sally hat ears. But it would be a mistake to triangle the person looking straight at them. Now, if you have very long legs and your opponent has very narrow shoulders, that might not be a problem for you. But if you've got short legs, you know, you need every advantage possible. So I would say as soon as you secure your legs together, and certainly when you've checked the arm over, you know, you want to just, you know, do that final cut of the angle. So that way you are trying to finalize the triangle, you know, as much of an angle as possible. So let's check it out again. Again, Sally here is in my open guard. Got one leg up, one leg down. I have total intention of doing the sit-up turnover. You know, rubber banding, posting. For whatever reason, I'm too far away, or whatever. I just can't get the arm overhooking. That's fine. I'm gonna put my leg over her shoulder, and I'm gonna secure my ankle just as soon as I can. Might even push myself a little bit on the floor to continue cutting the angle. Next thing I want to do is secure this arm, put it in front, pinch my knees, and then pull my knees towards me. So pinch, which is pressing this arm to one side of her neck, pinch, and then pull. Again, from this angle, one up, and down. For whatever reason, I can't overhook. I'm securing it. That's no problem. Gonna put the leg over, grab, even cut a little bit more of an angle. Once I put the back of my knee over my instep, that frees up my hand. I can shuck the arm across. Now I'm going to pinch my knees together, and then pull it towards me. And the last angle. Again, one leg up, one leg down. Rubber band, for whatever reason, it's not going to work. That's fine. I'm throwing my leg over. Gonna secure it. Okay. Triangle my legs together. Take this arm, shuck it to one side. If I can, even turn myself a little bit further. Now, press my knees together and pull them towards me. Pinch and pull. And that is how we will get to the triangle from the sit-up turnover position. Now, if the triangle doesn't work, you can now use the triangle as a way to secure your partner, because now we can finish with an arm bar, and we'll show that next week. So I hope you enjoy learning about a way to, do the sit-up turnover. That doesn't work. You can get to the triangle. That doesn't work. Get to the arm bar. Jiu Jitsu increasingly becomes having a plan B, a plan C, a plan D. Sometimes you actually want them to go to a plan B because that's actually, the submission that you're actually hoping to get. So, in the meantime, thank you for joining me for this episode. If you want to learn more about the triangle, we do talk about the triangle in more detail in episode 35. So, check that out. So, in the meantime, we have a new format. We'll talk a little bit, just in visual form, some of the highlights of things to think about when you're doing this move. Tell me what you think. Tell me if it's useful. And until next week, thank you again for joining me for this episode of Jiu Jitsu for Dummies.